Discretion is advised.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are playing Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's right, and I'm going to be straight up and honest with you guys. I normally don't play flight simulators. The last one I actually played was Microsoft Flight Simulator 98. Yes, that is the last flight simulator I've played. I actually still have the manual and the original box that it came in on my bookshelf over here behind me. So yes, that is like the last flight simulator I've actually played. I've tried out X-Plane a little bit, but I actually haven't like gone in and played it and stuff like that. So I am not good at flying airplanes whatsoever. I think I was still a little kid when I first played it, and I do remember all I did was sit there and crash the airplane because I had no idea what the heck I was actually doing. But today we're going to go through some flight training. Now this is my first time actually playing flight sim after all the updates and stuff, and let me tell you, the update is a pain in the butt. It does take a while to fly, or take a while to download, but it is worth it. So let's go ahead and hop into here. We got world map, we got Corchevo, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Got some different activities we can do, and we have flight training. So we're going to do flight training for the first couple videos, and then we'll try to get in some free flight and stuff like that. Alright, so once we click flight simulator or flight school, we end up getting to this tab right here. And there's 8 different instructions and courses that we have to go through. I'm not 100% certain how long each and every single one of them are. So I'm not sure how many videos is actually going to be split up into. But I'm going to try to have them all done within a week, so that we can kind of go in here by either next week or the week after. We can kind of go in here and do some free flighting and do some awesome random stuff. Maybe get some multiplayer in here. I do want to give a shout out to Dan Cohen for actually recommending this game for me. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Dirty Russian, who actually told me that this is available on Xbox Game Pass. So instead of paying the $59.99 or whatever version you want to play, the standard version is on Microsoft Game Pass. So if you have that, you have this game for free, which is cool. Well, not really free. I pay $4.99 a month for it. So I'm excited about it. But let's go ahead and hop into basic controls and cameras. We'll go ahead and familiarize ourselves with flight environment. Let's go ahead and hop in that and check it out. Alright, so here we go. The screen that comes on before. Looks like we get to know the aircraft environment. Training session will familiarize you with the basic controls to spread your wings, explore different views, pitch and roll the aircraft, skew the aircraft direction and yaw with the rudder, and add and reduce power with throttle. About 8 minutes. We're currently in Sedona, Arizona. We're heading there and there. Flight conditions are a little bit cloudy, but let's go ahead and we're actually driving or flying the Cessna 152. So let's go ahead and hit fly and check it out.
Welcome to flight training. I'm your instructor, Captain Molina, but you can just call me Jess. This session, we'll get started with some basic controls.
Works for me.
First things first, let's get familiar with your surroundings. Don't worry, I've got the stick while you get your bearings. Out your side windows, you can see we have great visibility over Sedona today.
Wow, that actually looks like a good view. Alright, well it looks like she's going to be flying the aircraft today while we kind of do this, so that's kind of good. And then we want to press RS to reset the camera, which I just did. There we go.
This is Red Rock territory. Beautiful.
Yeah, it
isn't it?
looked pretty beautiful actually, I like it. Well, here we are inside the Cessna 152 airplane. Left, right, up, down to translate the camera inside the cockpit. Right? Or is it? Okay. Okay, so you use freely look around, use the right mouse button. Okay. Save a custom camera, pressing Control Alt 1.
See if you can spot the Sedona airport. The runway should be a pretty easy landmark to find.
That looks like a road. I don't see it. Found it. Found it.
There you go. Visual confirmation on the airport. Now that we're oriented, it's your turn.
Oh
Climb
no,
this
no,
line.
no, 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 no.
The first control on our training list is the yoke. I
Yoke.
still remember my first instructor saying the yoke is like a steering wheel. Almost. Sure, you can turn, but you can also pitch. For starters, it controls the ailerons.
The who?
And the ailerons, they allow the plane to roll and bank into turns. Go ahead and try rolling to the right.
Oh, oh boy.
Nice.
Okay.
Now let's see you level back out.
Did I just do that, or am I leveled? Whoa. Okay, this is yeah, this is awesome.
Good. Of course, the yoke also controls the elevator. And the elevator affects the plane's
Yeah.
pitch, right?
I'm assuming.
Pull back on the stick, the plane starts to climb. Give it a shot.
Ooh.
The most valuable things in aviation are speed and altitude. But notice, when you're pitching up, your speed is decreasing. You could, or for now, let's just pitch down. Just like that, your speed's picking up again as the nose pitches down. As you level back out, let's talk about another control, the rudders at your feet. Rudder pedals control the aircraft's side-to-side movement, also known as yaw. On the ground, those pedals are going to steer the plane left or right. Up here, they properly align us during turns. Try them out and watch the plane's nose skew to either side. Simple enough, right? Before we go on, let's bring the plane back to straight-up flight. Make sure your dashboard is aligned 3 to 4 inches below the horizon for a cruise attitude.
Okay, I think we're good there. Maybe. Good.
Okay, the last thing we're gonna cover now is the throttle. If you have the need for speed, then the throttle's for you. Full control over the power output of the engine. Let's see what happens when you cut all the power.
Throttle lever.
Let's see what happens when you cut all the power. Surprise, surprise. Our altitude is decreasing.
I don't really surprised. I had a feeling that that's what was going to happen.
This might be a good time for a piloting PSA. Always keep an eye on your surroundings, because nobody likes a low-flying duck. Alright, let's go ahead and throttle back up.
Okay, that was pretty simple. If you guys haven't noticed, we're going to actually... I'm not going to be talking a lot in this.
There you go.
I'm just going to be
Speed is
more listening
increasing,
to
and
it.
as long as we maintain the same attitude, our altitude will keep climbing too. You're really getting the hang of your controls. Before long, you won't even need a co-pilot.
Really?
Until then, if you want help with the radio or checklists or simply flying the plane, I'll be here.
Cool, I do appreciate it.
You can pass me the controls when you're ready to finish your session, or keep flying. It is a great day after all.
Well, that was pretty simple. Seemed pretty simple. I'm gonna hand back controls to her so we can keep going through the flight courses here. So let's go ahead and hand the controls back to her.
Alright, I have control. Good job.
Alright, so we finished course 1 of 8. Got 7 more to go. And that's kind of cool how it's like, instead of it just being, you know, dialogue boxes reading, explaining to you what you have to do, it actually, you know, it's voice commanded and it tells you like what to do, which I think is a lot better than just sitting there reading it on a screen. So kudos to Microsoft for doing that. Let's go ahead and hit next and check out the next flight course here. Training menu. Up next, training flight altitudes and instruments. We'll go ahead and do that, and let's check it out.
Today we're talking about attitudes of flight, how your plane is oriented relative to the horizon. If you look outside, you can see the cockpit is just about 4 inches below the horizon line. We're flying straight with a decent rate of speed. This is the cruise attitude. Let's see how it reads on your instruments. Take a look at the attitude indicator. As the name implies, it shows your current attitude. The white line is the horizon, with the sky above and the ground below. That orange element in the middle, aligned with the horizon, that's your plane. Just like we saw outside, our current attitude reads pretty much straight and level. Okay, now let's see how much power the engine's generating. Check your tachometer. Looks like we're pushing around 2,300 revolutions per minute. Combined, attitude and engine RPMs translate to aircraft performance.
I have no idea where she's
Which
seeing
leads
that
us
at.
to your airspeed indicator. Now, last but not least, check your altimeter.
Okay, I know where that one
To
is.
figure out your altitude, you always want to read the small needle first. That's how many thousands of feet up you are. Then on to the big needle for the hundreds.
Okay.
With our current attitude and power output, we're holding a speed of 90 knots and a stable altitude of 6,000 feet.
Okay.
But that's about to change. Take the stick when you're ready. Pull back slightly on the yoke to raise the nose just above the horizon line. About 2 inches. Make sure you don't pitch up too much, or the angle will be too steep to create lift. And without enough lift, we'll stall.
So they want us to go up.
Go full throttle and start climbing. Welcome to the climb attitude. See how it shows up on your attitude indicator and tachometer? According to your altimeter, we're gaining altitude. But we're losing airspeed even at full throttle, proving you can't avoid basic physics while making a climb. Okay, before we go on, let's get back to a cruise attitude. Ease up on the yoke and aim your nose just below the horizon. Then throttle back down to 2,300 RPMs.
There we go, and then 23. No, we had it.
Nice job.
There we go.
We're now set up with the same attitude and power we had at the top of our lesson. Next up is the descent attitude.
Descent attitude.
Start by reducing your RPMs to 1,800. Then drop the plane's nose a bit further below the horizon. As expected,
There we go.
the nose down attitude, our altitude is decreasing while our speed is picking up.
So I feel like then we're going to have to do controller
Why
and
don't you
mouse
get us
on
back
this.
to a cruise attitude, and we'll hit the last part of our lesson.
Back to a cruise attitude. So we'll go back to about 70% throttle. Cruise attitude, and then 79. There we go.
Now that we know how to cruise, climb, and descend, let's talk about the turn attitude.
So many attitudes,
Gently
man.
pull the yoke left or right to start rolling the plane. If you take a look outside, you can see how our attitudes changed, but you can also check your instruments for the details.
Can I?
As a general rule, you always want to keep your turns under 30 degrees.
Okay, makes sense.
At the top of your attitude indicator, there's a series of notches representing 10 degrees each. Use them to control your roll.
Okay.
Notice the more you turn, the more you need to pull back on the yoke to maintain altitude.
Yeah.
When you're rolling out, you'll need to do the opposite. Roll and push at the same time.
Okay.
The more you know about the main attitudes of flight, the closer you get to that pilot state of mind. So keep practicing, and whenever you're done, pass me the controls.
Okay, I'm just gonna pass her back to controls because I think I pretty much got it down.
Thanks, I've got control now.
But we'll see
done.
when we do our first flight out of flight sim or out of flight training. We'll see if we can figure that out. Next is going to be takeoff and level flight. Alright, here we go. Let's go ahead and do it.
There's an old saying I like. A mile of road will take you a mile. A mile of runway will take you anywhere. Taking off isn't hard, but there are a few key points to remember. First, we always take off into the wind, which won't be an issue on a calm day like today. Second, before we enter a runway, we always make sure it's clear. Everything looks good, no cross traffic. Go ahead and taxi into position.
Taxi into position. Okay.
The rudder pedals should make steering the plane pretty easy.
Probably should give it some throttle. There we go.
Alright, let's do this. Apply full power and I'll walk you through the takeoff as we go.
Full power. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. Just put it into full
Use
throttle.
your rudders to stay on the center line and keep pushing power until you reach 55 knots.
Okay, keep pushing power till we get 55 knots, which is airspeed. Airspeed's at
Good.
40.
Now gently pull back on the yoke.
Oh,
Line up the top of your instrument panel so it's a couple inches above the horizon. That'll pitch us up and set a good climb attitude. And we're airborne.
all right.
Focus on flying straight. Use your rudders to keep the runway heading of 210 degrees. Maintain 75 knots, and we'll reach our target altitude of 5,500 feet in no time.
I think I got it. I'm assuming. Need to pull back on the throttle a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm at where I'm supposed to be at, because I was just at 80 knots and it's still telling me that it's not right. So I don't know where I'm supposed to actually even be flying to is the question. Because it looks like I'm right on the horizon, it looks like. It's a little bit off the horizon. Yeah, I don't know what or what they're wanting me to do, because I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be at, but it doesn't look like it.
5,500 feet. A nice, safe altitude for part 2 of our lesson. Straight and level flight. First step here is adjusting our attitude. We're in a cruise attitude, pushing max power. To stay level at our target altitude, let's start by easing the throttle back to 1,800 RPMs.
So let's go set it to 1800, it looks like.
You've probably noticed, to maintain altitude, you need to pitch the nose up.
Yeah, I figured that
keep
one.
pulling on the yoke to hold steady, but that's not really a precise means of control. Probably better to adjust your trim wheel until you don't need to push or pull on the yoke. Drag the trim down when you need to set the nose up. Drag it up to set the nose down. Try adding trim to keep us at 5,500 feet without increasing throttle. If you feel our pitch slipping and need to get back to the proper attitude, don't worry. Just pull on the yoke, then dial in the right trim. The way I was taught, when you adjust the trim, you make rough changes at first to remove pressure on the yoke, then small adjustments to find the perfect setting to keep your desired attitude. That's the key to straight and level flight. It saves you from constantly pushing or pulling on the yoke.
I did not know that.
And that gives you more time to enjoy the ride. If you want more practice using the trim, go for it. Whenever you're ready to pass the controls, I'll be here.
Let's go ahead and pass them, and then I'll go ahead and pass the controls over to her.
Okay, I have control. Hope you enjoyed the lesson.
And that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know if you guys want to see more Microsoft Flight Sim. I do plan on doing a lot more. And it looks like in the next lesson we're going to tackle landing and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, super excited for that. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section by hitting the like button and by subscribing to the channel if you guys haven't already. As well as make sure you guys follow me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and join the Discord server. I'll catch you guys here on the next one. Peace.